Polar regions of the Earth. Animals' life is abundant during the Arctic summer. Enormous herds of caribou or reindeer move onto the tundra from the forest where they spent the winter. Wolves, wolverines, and bears hunt for the caribou. Hamster-like rodents called lemmings feast on grasses and seeds. Beautiful snowy owls and Arctic foxes hunt the lemmings. Many birds, including snow geese and ptarmigan, raise their chicks. The winter approaches, the plants blaze with color, and they lose their leaves or die. Caribou, whales, seals, and birds migrate to the warmer areas. Arctic foxes and ptarmigans change their brownish coats, turning to white to match the winter snow. Lemmings and bears hibernate as the cold sets in. Humans also live in the Arctic. The Inuit are a group of natives people to the Arctic region. They hunt caribou, seals, and whales. Many years ago, the Inuit make everything, including their clothes, sleds, ropes, tools, and homes, from the skin and bones of the animals they hunted. Today, most Inuit live in modern homes. Many are still hunters, but they also get their food, clothing, and tools in stores. Life in the Antarctic. The South Pole sits in the middle of the continent of Antarctica. Because land is colder than the sea, Antarctica is brutally cold all year round. Parts of Antarctica are mountainous, making them even colder. Almost all of Antarctica is permanently covered with an ice cap, so there are few plants. Most of the animals that visit Antarctica live in the sea, where there are plants and animals to eat. In summer, seals and sea lions come onto the Antarctic beaches to breed. Birds make their nests in seaside cliffs. But the most famous Antarctic resident is the penguin. Emperor penguins are the only creatures that can withstand the Antarctic winter on land. Penguins have thick, waterproof feathers and a layer of fat called blubber to keep them warm. Emperor penguins are the largest penguins. Early in the winter, the female emperor penguin lays a single egg. She gives it to the male, who balances on the tops of her feet. Then the female penguin leaves for the ocean to eat fish. The male carefully holds the precious egg for the entire winter. Emperor penguins have a flap of feathered skin that they use to cover the egg and keep it warm. Males huddle close together to keep warm during the fierce Antarctic blizzards. They do not eat or drink anything for months. Finally, spring arrives, the eggs hatch, and the females return. Then the males and females bring food to the chicks until the chicks are ready to fish for themselves. Conclusion. The polar regions are some of the last areas of wilderness in the world, but they are being threatened. Oil companies build wells and pipelines in the Arctic. Tourists visit Antarctica to see the wildlife. Sometimes humans leave behind garbage and pollution that harm the environment. The Earth is also warming up. Permafrost is all over the Arctic, and it is melting, sometimes causing the ground to collapse, taking buildings and roads with it. Ice caps break up and melt much more often than they used to. No one knows what this warming will do to the polar animals. Most nations of the world have agreed to try to protect polar regions. Hopefully, the only threat that polar life will have is to face the future is cold. Axis. An imaginary line around an object, such as the Earth, as it rotates. Blubber, fat under the skin that keeps marine mammals warm. Brulee, a harsh, cruel, or violent way. Equator, an imaginary line that circles the Earth halfway between the North and South poles. Hibernate, to go into a state of deep sleep, often during the winter. Ice cap, a sheet of snow and ice that covers a wide area, such as the land at the Earth's poles. Inhospitable, harsh, unwelcoming, or challenging to live. Lichens, crusty organisms that grow on the rocks and trees, migrate to move from one habitat or region to another at a certain time each year. Permafrost, a layer of soil in the cold region that stays frozen all year long. Tundra, a cold, treeless Arctic region where the ground is always frozen.